Hey, what's going on, ladies? Popping in here to have a conversation with you. This is one that I'm also going to let stay on YouTube instead of making it an unlisted video. And so on the YouTube, I said, what more do you want me to do? And then in the group, on the Authentic Collective, I put down, I asked God, what more do you want from me? And so I've been in a very pensive state. And I say that, not in a negative sense. I don't, not worrying. Understand, I said pensive. That means I'm in high reflection, high thought, and I'm analyzing and examining some things because for me, and this is for everybody, I'm not special, but typically what happens is right before we elevate, there is a level of controversy. There are some things that come up, we get challenged, right? And so that it's more attractive. For instance, when you're striving to win the Olympics, it's, you know, because it's your vantage point of what you appreciate. But, everything that's going on right now, the biggest question that you should have is, what more would you require of me? What more can I do? And I know a lot of people aren't necessarily in that headspace. And so, me asking the question came out of my meditation and reflection. I was just kind of sitting there this morning and I was like, okay, God, with everything that's going on, now, mind you, I am still showing up online in my business. I am making sure that I'm going live even more than usual to give messages of hope and of love and of inspiration. I am still reaching out to people, connecting. And, for me, it's not that big of a shift. I've worked from home forever, and I've been doing this online thing now for a few years, and my children are at home with me. My husband is at home with me. So the whole lockdown aspect of it doesn't necessarily feel as bad to me because it was what I was already doing. It's different once I go outside and I see that the traffic, isn't as heavy. And when I, grocery shopping isn't was never fun, but it's not as fun now because I can't necessarily get, what I'm looking for because the shelves are always half empty. But otherwise, I'm not in this place where this is the scariest time for me. Okay. Like, seriously, there are some of us that, based on our life's experiences, what's happening with Corona, we like, this ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because we've had scarier times when we were concerned about I was concerned about how I was going to feed my children, how I was going to get a roof over my head. I've been concerned about how I was going to get my children back because there was a season when two of them were not with me. I've been through some things. And so my faith and my conditioning and my mindset is not because I'm just some ultra super mega maxi save person or this ultra super spiritual guru. It's because from my vantage point, this is not the worst. And because I was also raised in Christianity, and that is a strong part of the foundation of what I believe, based on the current series of events, this is not the end. This is nowhere near the end. We haven't even experienced half of what the Bible would said would happen prior to the quote unquote end of the world. So I just am not afraid on that level. However, when there's so much calamity, so much fear, so much anxiety around me from the people that I talk to, then I'm like, okay, what greater thing would you have me do? And so I was talking to my husband and I was talking about the current state of my business. I haven't financially felt a hard blow. I have a rare breed of clients who also have this same optimism as me. So I don't have people just falling off, like, oh God, I don't know what I can do. I can't pay you anymore. They have decided that if they don't do anything else, they are going to invest in themselves. So when this too shall pass, that they'll come out on the other side okay. But we are a community of people. And so even though it's not affecting me the way that it's affecting some people, as an empath, I am still feeling emotional anxieties and fears. And when people are asking me questions and saying things, they're saying one thing, but my senses are picking up something different. And so yesterday I had the opportunity of doing a virtual happy hour with the ladies that are inside of the Authentic Collective. And one of the women in there, she was like, August, I see how God uses you. She saw me in another event earlier that day. And so she was basically just asking me some questions. And let's not get it twisted. Let's just be real. If I wasn't in the place that I'm in today and I was more apprehensive, because a lot of Christians get on my nerves because they're just highly judgmental people, I would not have liked the questions that she asked me, and I would have presumed that she was already judging me, because she was like, basically, in so many words, she was like, I see the call on your life. I see the call on your life, and um, there's some things you basically supposed to do. And so she basically was just asking me questions to do a quality assurance check. Are you doing what God wants you to do, or is there some level of, delayed obedience? Which then, what would they say? Delayed obedience is what? Disobedience. And so, in my knee jerk reaction to her, because this is my truth, and so this is what I want you guys to really recognize about choosing to elevate. And my knee jerk reaction, because it's my truth, I said, I'm not deliberately being defiant. I am not delaying my response to God. This has been a gradual metamorphosis in my innermost circle. I have let them know when I was dealing with that moment of, I don't want nothing to do with this or with that. And so, in having that conversation with her, I was like, my thing is that I just don't know what's next, because I'm a spiritual person and I understand that there are things that I say that will cause people not to follow me, because I do believe in God and I do believe in Jesus, but I don't only believe in Jesus. And so I was very transparent with her. You can't say that to me church folk, because then church folks get to, pushing you to the side and saying they don't want anything to do with you. But there are just ways that God has revealed himself to me that the church taught me was demonic and I wasn't looking for. And I refuse to have someone call me and label me as a demon, because God is manifesting gifts and wonders with me that he ain't manifesting with them. And so, but back to my other point, I'm not that old August anymore who just doesn't want anybody in the church to ask me any questions. And so I am a highly introspective woman. And what I did is, when we got off of that, of course, I kind of chilled with my family and did all of that other stuff. But when I woke up this morning to do my meditation and to just sit, I was like, okay, but even if I'm not deliberately being defiant, if I'm not delaying my response, I did say that there's something that I don't know. And so, when is the last time that I asked him, what's the next step? See, I'm always in flow and I move, but if I'm in this place where it's kind of like I feel this eruption, because I'm very aware of what's going on in my life. I see the changes as they're coming with the way that I'm speaking and teaching, that it's evolved to another level. But then I said, well, then maybe God, I should ask you, what more would you have me to do? Because, see, sometimes you basically get put into the fire. And then I believe that there are other times when you should put yourself into the fire. And so, for instance, that is like with fasting. You can cause yourself to suffer, but there is a suffering because you made a stupid mistake, and then there is suffering for righteousness' sake. And so, if you're truly humbling yourself and deciding that you're going to surrender your physical power in order to allow the divine to operate through you spiritually, then you are saying that I'm willing to go through the adjustments that come with fasting in order for God to elevate me. And so, in my time, in my season right now, where I don't feel what everyone else is feeling, I had to ask myself, well, how do I surrender? And what do I surrender in order for me to get this level of information that I need to go to my next level? So some of you that are calm, just make sure that you're not too calm and spending this time just going through the motions because everything is okay. Because I do believe that we are basically in a universal place where we are all being called and challenged to a degree to up level who we are. And whether that is a combination of mental, physical, spiritual, or whatever, the point is that the season has risen, and it is time for us to do that thing. And so for me, I understand that there is a facet of spirituality that has to go to another level for me, and it is directly connected to the next level of elevation with my business. And so that was just me sharing my personal place. Some of you guys may be wrestling with or warring with some of these similar ideas and thoughts. And if you are, share them in the comment. Let's talk about them. Let's dialogue. But sometimes we need to say where we are and what our challenges are so that another queen can feel good about saying where she is and what her challenges are instead of us kind of sitting back somewhere and looking like and feeling like we're crazy. Okay. So that's all I wanted. I love you guys. You have a beautiful day, and I'll talk to you later. Deuces.